I've been through the ups and downs of trying to create a YouTube channel, and like you, I followed the advice of great YouTubers like Mr. Beast, Nick Nimmin, Filmbooth Ed, Brian G, Nate Black, Sean Cannell, and so on, but there's one or two things that never seem to be said. So in today's video, this is going to be about tips that I think aren't being said that are really useful for real creators with the real struggles of building a YouTube channel. So my first tip, YouTube just keeps changing. And because YouTube keeps changing, then you need to check the dates on the advice you're getting from YouTube advisors and YouTube channels. So before you take everything they say as gospel, just check to see how old was it that they're referring to in their video. Was it 2024 or was it 2020? What about if you're just getting started and Think Media say, you just gotta press record? Is that right, that you just have to press record and off you go? Well, why don't you put a comment down below and say what you think, if that works for you. Is it actually just about pressing record? So tip number 2 is remembering that not all channels are the same. There's actually at least 2 different types of channels. There's entertainment and there's education. So the advice that Mr. Beast gives about entertaining is going to be quite different to the advice that someone gives about education. And that's why you need to know about your audience and know what audience you're actually collecting. So I get advice sometimes, why aren't I jumping around doing this, that and the other? But then my audience is probably going to be more of a mature audience. I'm not going to get 16 or 18-year-olds. Possibly I'm going to have people that are realistic and more professional because of my experience. And so I have to be aware of looking at my audience and seeing what they require, rather than just listening to a general advice that's written for the audience of that person giving the advice. So the advice is to speed up and to jump cut everything and to have things flashing around. That may not be the ideal way to handle your audience. So try both and see what reacts better for your you can put mistakes in if you want. The third tip is to decide what it is you actually want to accomplish with your channel. So if it's about getting gold plaques, silver plaques, getting views, getting subscribers, well, if that's your goal, fine. But for many people, YouTube is actually a business. It's a way of getting an income. So just be realistic. If you want to get a business, then maybe you just need to cut back on aiming too high and not always looking for a viral video, but just looking for something that's going to sustain you, get subscribers and get people that buy into you and your products. And then in that way, then you have a business that's sustainable. My fourth tip is not to always listen to the advice you get from, say, comments on your video. Quite often the comments are put there because they are looking at it from a particular angle. And sometimes the advice they give, maybe with good intentions, but it's not always right. Now, if you go to the doctor and the doctor says, well, the previous patient, I gave him these pills and he seemed to be fine with them, so take them. If the doctor hasn't found out what actually your issues are, what your goals are, what your focus is, and doesn't know what's wrong, then just taking those random pills that work for someone else doesn't guarantee you any success. So most YouTubers have different challenges, different pains, and therefore need different solutions. So actually it's better to know how to solve the problems than copying someone else's solutions. My fifth tip is to try and build a community. So how do you do that? Well, community posts are a great way to do that, because as you find out more information that you want to share, you can do that immediately. You don't need to even produce a video. So you can just put it down, it takes 5 minutes, and therefore you can start to build a community. But I'll tell you why community posts are so good, because YouTube will give them to an audience of people that aren't necessarily your subscribers. So if you want to tap into a new audience or you want to find new subscribers, then you can get a very quick turnaround if you write a couple of really great community posts. And once people start buying into your posts, buying into your community, Google will then start to recommend your videos to them too. So you don't need to be a subscriber to tap into another audience. And my sixth tip is, it doesn't really matter whether you get 1 view or whether you get 1 million views, YouTube's hard. And one of the worst things you can do is look at the following day when you've released a video at your analytics, because often my videos that are blown up, or the videos that have really done well on my other channels, they've done well, but it's been probably 2 or 3 weeks down the line. It's been when the algorithms began to understand what the audience is and who the right audience would be to serve that video to. And once they start responding, I've seen 3 or 4 weeks down the line, a video that's flopped or been a 10 out of 10 become a 1 out of 10. So don't give up just based on the analytics of the first few days of a video, but also bear in mind that 1 million views or 1 view is not that relevant. It's the overall views within the channel that makes a difference. And even if you did get 1 million views, as you grow your channel, the problems and challenges just change. They never go away. So thinking that hitting YouTube millions is going to be the product of happiness isn't the right way to think about it. Just enjoy the journey, enjoy the creation, and just enjoy the actual way of connecting with your community. So just have in mind that happiness isn't a destination, it is enjoying the journey along the way. So earlier I mentioned that Think Media say,
you just gotta press record.
Right now.
But is that right? Is that actually right? Well, it is true to some degree, because if you never get started, you're never going to have a YouTube channel. But there is something else to bear in mind. There's a few more things you need to get started, and I've put them all together in this video here. So watch this next, and you then will want to press record.
Right now.